Hi guys.
Welcome back to episode 4 of
D1 Yappers! Okay, on this episode, we're gonna be reading some of the r/am I the asshole posts
Reddit.
from Reddit and giving our opinions.
Yeah, trigger warning ahead of time. These are dark. But like
Some of them are dark.
they just become funny because the way the people write them is just like absolutely insane, so yeah. Okay. Do you want me to do mine first?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, the phone moved.
Oh my god. What? Okay, hang on. So sorry.
Here we go. Okay. So the first here we go. Okay. There we go. We were a little nodded. We're fine now. Okay, so the first title is, Am I the asshole for telling my sister-in-law she was stupid and prone to miscarriages? I, 25 female, have been married to my husband for 2 years. We recently got our first home and are officially homeowners, so a few weeks ago we decided to throw a big party with family and friends. We did have a bunch of alcoholic drinks and mixed drinks, but I had them separate because my sister-in-law is 3 months pregnant. My sister-in-law had 4 miscarriages in the past. It's heart-wrenching, and I feel horrible for her. I've always been supportive. She has a form of PCOS. Anyways, at the party, I told sister-in-law that the non-alcoholic drinks were in the indoor fridge and to feel free to make herself virgin drinks if she liked. On the table outside, I had mixed drinks and in the outside cooler. Long story short, sister-in-law ended up getting trashed. A week later, she miscarried. She's been blaming my husband and I since early January for this, sending us hateful messages, spamming my phone, saying one of us must have mixed up the drinks, which didn't happen. When it first occurred, I told her I was so sorry, but it wasn't our fault. We had other guests who were drinking, and I had made her aware of where the other drinks were. 2 days ago, she tried pulling that stuff again when we ran into her while at my mother-in-law's, and again said it and followed me through the house arguing with me. I finally blew and said, "You're stupid." 1, for A, not listening when I told you where the non-alcoholic drinks are, B, for continuing to drink because she had to have realized she was getting drunk, and C, because you're already prone to miscarriages due to your condition, which isn't our fault. She broke down in tears, crying and wailing, saying I wasn't sensitive, I was a horrible person. My mother-in-law asked us to leave. My husband and I feel bad for her miscarrying, of course, but she has been harassing us for weeks. Sister-in-law texted me off of brother-in-law's number because we blocked her, saying she couldn't believe I was calling her stupid when her miscarriage happened due to my party, and how I needed to apologize, and how I've never been pregnant so I'll never understand, and how alcohol feels different during pregnancy, how I was uneducated. Mother-in-law is backing her up. Am I the asshole?
Deep breath, deep breath.
Wow.
I mean, I don't think her reaction was warranted though. Like the calling her out for like previous miscarriages, like bringing up her condition that causes those, like stuff like that.
She is so correct, so right, not her fault. She made her fully aware. She should have known that she was getting drunk. She should have most likely tasted it. I mean, your taste buds change, but
your body would
your
still
body's
react,
still gonna react.
though, yeah.
However, she should not have blown up to the point where she stepped over the line of saying that she was miscarriage prone.
Mm-hmm.
That is wild.
Yeah.
But I stand for her with the rest. I do think that...
Yeah, I don't... Also, like, where was her, like, sister-in-law's husband? Like, where was the brother-in-law?
I don't think
like,
she probably...
Like, why was no one realizing, like, oh my god, this pregnant woman is trash?
Is downing, yeah, drinks that are not for her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I get, like, it is the host's responsibility for the most part, like, what happens at an event.
But she did tell her.
She did tell her. But also, like, why was no one else, like, this pregnant lady
woman
is downing drinks that I'm drinking and I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting lit, like...
And same with her with, if you're grabbing drinks from the same pile as everyone else...
How do you not realize? Yeah. Do you think everyone's having a sober night?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean, of course, no one wishes a miscarriage upon anyone, but
no.
Yeah, this is a half. You are the asshole. I think for sure.
Yeah.
There's some wrongdoings here.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, to preface, my first one is, like, clearly not serious. Like, I do think it is a made-up story, but they were so creative with it, I just felt like they deserved a little place in the video. Yeah.
They needed the hype.
So the title is, Am I the Asshole for Spanking My Wife and Ruining Her Dresser Because She Didn't Let Me Complete It on My Own Time? Crazy title. Immediately I was like, excuse me? Okay, so the story is, I, 21M, and my wife, 20F, recently got an apartment together, and for the first month, everything has been going well. Moving all of our things has been somewhat stressful between work and just life in general, and also because we don't have enough furniture to store everything in. So my wife purchased an expensive dresser without consulting me. Which is fine because she works a full-time construction job and I only work part-time at McDonald's, so she easily earns twice as much as me.
Woo!
My problem is that she expected me to put it together because, according to her, quote, sitting and playing on your Nintendo Switch isn't helping whatsoever. Honestly, she has never made remarks like that before, but I just assumed it was all the stress from having to pick up extra shifts to afford rent, utilities, and groceries. Oh my gosh! Yes. So I just ignored it. Ever since that one instance, however, she's been even more reserved, and our intimate life has diminished. After putting off the dresser for about a week, I finally decided to assemble it as soon as I got off of work. But when I arrived home, my wife had already started on it. I then told her to just leave it and I would do it because she had just worked a 12-hour shift and needed to take it easy. Anna seemed to like that idea because she agreed and decided to go and take a shower. This is where the real issue started. I had seen that she made a good amount of progress on the dresser, and I knew it would have taken me more than an hour to finish it. So I decided that I could de-stress and play Smash Bros. For a bit. It hadn't even been 30 minutes before my wife got out of the shower and started to practically yell at me. She berated me with a bunch of insults and took this opportunity to yell at me about everything that I've been doing wrong. She called me useless and said I should never have quit my second job at Sonic. She didn't stop until tears were running down my face, and that's when I saw red and did something I never thought I would do. I went into the bedroom with a hammer and started to smash the dresser. My wife came running in, angrier than I'd ever seen anyone. She was completely red, and she tried to pry the hammer away from me. She struggled for a bit, but then realized that she couldn't get it, so she slapped me across the face. That's when I did the unthinkable and put her over my knee and spanked her as hard as I could. Ever since then, she has refused to look at me, and she hasn't spoken to me, and it's been about 2 weeks.
You are most certainly the asshole.
Oh my god, for sure.
Most certainly. Get out of the house. That's her house, not yours.
Yeah, allowing your wife to pick up extra shifts while you quit your other job and you work part-time at a McDonald's.
So you can play Super Smash.
So you can play Super Smash Bros. On your Nintendo Switch.
Fold her over your knee and spank
Oh my god, yeah. If this is real, which I don't think it is.
He needs to get boot out of the house.
Homegirl needs to run. She needs to run for her life. Because that is a man-child.
Good God.
Oh my god, yeah. I think we're both in agreement here. Yeah.
Next one. Am I the asshole for announcing to my brother-in-law and his friends that my partner... I can't even finish it. That my partner and I are going to have sex. My partner and I bought a lovely house that's great for hosting get-togethers. Most of the time we invite friends and families, mainly friends now. Earlier this week, my brother-in-law asked if we could host a get-together at our place since a friend is visiting the state, and he wanted to give his friend a house tour. Just a disclaimer, I really dislike having the brother-in-law over because he doesn't respect boundaries. We ask guests not to go in our bedroom and my office, but he goes in both because he was looking for our cats or he wanted to check the place out. This man is 11 years older than us. My partner and I barely had time for each other due to our busy work schedules, and this weekend we were looking forward to us time. My partner said he didn't really want people over, and I said the same. My partner texted back, "We can't, sorry, we're busy this weekend." Brother-in-law kept pushing and calling, asking why we wouldn't make time, and he claims it's only going to be a few hours, and this friend rarely visits the state we live in. My partner just kept replying that we were busy. He keeps asking what we're doing and why we are busy. Saturday evening, we're relaxing and playing video games in the living room. Brother-in-law calls my partner, says that they're outside dropping by really quick. Partner says that we're busy. Brother-in-law argues, seeing us from the window, that we're just playing games. More arguing, my partner hangs up and aggressive knocking follows. We go and open the door, and there were 7 other people with him. They had alcohol and snacks. This is a common issue between brother-in-law and us. I'm just fed up with this, and I kind of just asked what they were doing here and that we can't hang out tonight because we had plans to relax. Went on a tangent about our busy weeks while they stood out in the cold. I ended the conversation with, "We plan to have sex tonight and don't want people around while we're at it. We already told brother-in-law's name that we're busy. He wants details here. We're having sex all night. Good night. Stay warm." Well, brother-in-law talked to father-in-law. Now I'm getting calls and texts on how crude and rude I am, and I have no decency. My partner doesn't care how I handled it and understands I'm sick and tired of brother-in-law. Am I the asshole? Most certainly not, ma'am.
No.
You are not the asshole.
Crazy way to get him off of her back, but it seems
I
like
respect
desperate
it.
measures, desperate times call for desperate measures.
Mm-hmm.
What's crazy is that he was still out there in front of all of his friends, being like, "Come on, open the door, open the door." Like,
And 7, not the one that was visiting town.
Right.
Also, to ask to give a house tour of a house that's not
that's
your
not
house.
yours. Yeah.
Be
That's
so
definitely
surreal.
imposing.
That is
And then
crazy.
watching them with your friends through the window and telling them, "I can tell you're not busy, you're just playing games."
Also telling your father about this situation when he didn't need to know about this and you're actually the asshole is crazy. Crazy. I would be livid. I would never speak to brother-in-law again. I'm so sorry for this girl, and I'm glad the husband is standing by her in this dark time, really.
I mean, clearly if she was saying that, it was desperate times.
It was desperate times. It was a busy week.
I believe
They
her.
needed their time.
I believe her. I stand with her. Okay. My next one is, am I the asshole for saying I would spend Valentine's Day with my brother and not my girlfriend?
Dun, dun, dun.
I, 28M, have an older brother, Levi, who is turning 22 on Valentine's Day, which is his birthday. He is having a party and I was invited to go, so I agreed to go a month ago. I haven't spent all of his birthdays with him, but I have spent the last few years with him. I love Levi and I want to spend the day with him. I have a girlfriend, Ava, 20F, of whom I've been dating for over a year and we've moved in together. Last year together I went to Levi's party without her, and she had no issues with it and was happy about things. When I mentioned it to Ava, she got mad at me saying that she wanted to spend the day with me. I told her that we could spend the day together, then either we can split ways for a bit or she can come with me. It isn't like I won't get her anything, but she hadn't expressed that she would have wanted anything before that. I thought that she would be chill, but she's still being grumpy about the whole thing. I tried to explain that I don't want to abandon my brother on his birthday, but she doesn't want to hear it. I have mixed reviews on this situation. Because, first of all, why is a 28-year-old man with a 20-year-old and they've been together for over a year and a half?
Yes.
She was 18 and he was 27.
He's the asshole for this.
That's
that
weird.
age gap.
First of all,
there.
that's odd. Second of all, if he RSVP'd to it like a month ago, why is this a current problem? Like, why didn't he tell her as soon as it came up? Why wasn't he like, "Hey, by the way, my brother's having a party on his birthday, Valentine's Day. Is it cool if I go?" Because it seems like this is being brought up now, days before Valentine's Day, because this was posted 20 hours ago. So, a few days before. So I think she's probably more upset because she did not see this coming. Like, it was kind of like oh, by the way, I know Valentine's Day is on Wednesday, but, today's Sunday. Let me just let you know I'm not going to be able to go. Like, that, that is very, like, you need to communicate your plans. Especially on a day that's all about, like, relationships and stuff. Why wouldn't you think, oh, maybe my girlfriend might want to know that?
And if you have any complaints about your girlfriend, you probably stunted her growth when you started dating her so young, as an old man.
Oh,
yes, you are
old man.
You are an old man at that age.
old enough.
If you
to
think
know.
that's okay.
Okay.
If you think that's okay, you've got the mindset of an old man who can't think for himself anymore. Like, don't be doing that. Why are you doing that? Any complaints that you have about her, you created it. Because she wasn't mature enough yet. And you made that setback happen. So, maybe you are the asshole.
I do think... I understand both parts a little bit. Like, I understand wanting to go to his brother's birthday.
I think the premise of it, he shouldn't be the asshole. Because, I mean, it's your brother. Go support him. Do your thing with your girl before or after.
Communicate.
Communicate. Like, the situation's okay, but I just don't like him.
Yeah. That's fair.
And,
I mean...
he was voted an asshole on this post.
He was.
So, I'm standing with the people here.
I think that he should have communicated better. But... if she didn't care last year, I can understand how he might assume that she might not care this year.
Yep. If you want to have a good Valentine's this year, moral of the story, communication.
Beautiful.
And that's it, folks. Okay. This one's crazy. This one's wild.
This one's, like, sad.
It's really sad, but the way she writes it is absolutely insane. Am I the asshole for getting mad at my stepsister for letting our house get robbed? Here we go. My family's lives got thrown into chaos 3 months ago when my mom got arrested for some financial-related crimes. She's probably going away for the next 3 to 8 years. We're losing our house, and her and my stepfather are getting divorced. There's no good timing for any of this, but it's especially bad now because I'm in college on the other side of the country. My stepfather isn't even in the country right now, he's deployed, and my only sibling, my stepsister Stacy, just turned 17. By the time my mom realized she couldn't even make bond, I only had 3 weeks until winter break. So we agreed that it would be okay for me to keep my original flight back while things were still being sorted out. We decided that I'm going to take a semester off school to help out until everything is settled. Obviously, it wasn't ideal to have Stacy hold down the fort for that long, but it's not illegal. The bills were paid and everything, so all she had to do was breathe and not burn the house down. She did not do that. She decided that all this meant was that she could do whatever she wanted, and she moved in with her boyfriend without telling anyone. The house went unattended, and of course, we got robbed. They cleaned the place out. Anything of value that was left after the raid is gone, including basically all of my stuff. That's what I came home to. I immediately called Stacy, but she blocked my number. I only know where she went through social media, and she wouldn't respond to messages there. So I had to start posting about all of this on Facebook to get her to respond, and now I'm getting shit for blaming her and putting too much on a child. I'm expecting too much on top of having to drop out of school temporarily and everything else I'm responsible for, including probably ending up being her guardian. I now have to replace anything I didn't take to college with me and immediately scramble for housing. My only expectation of her was to not just fucking vanish for 3 weeks. That was her only responsibility, and she just bailed. Her being a minor makes her actions worse, in my opinion, because it's not even legal for her to decide that. She just wants to live on her own now. She was legally required to stay there because our parents told her to. I don't think I'm required to pretend she was just an angel to talk about it. Edit. We have footage from a nearby security camera that proves she wasn't involved in the robbery. Am I the asshole?
I'm interested because they say it's not illegal to leave her alone, but then they say it's illegal for her to choose to live alone.
Well, she was living with her, I guess, on her own, like, yeah, I don't know.
I'm not understanding that part,
I think
because if
that's
she moved in with a
justified,
boyfriend, like, she's technically not living alone because I'm going to assume he lives at home too.
Right. I
so
mean,
he basically just moved to her boyfriend's parents'
low-key,
house.
yeah, like, low-key, if I were her, I wouldn't want to have to, I don't think I would fully move in for 3 weeks, but I wouldn't want to be in my home all by my lonesome for 3 weeks while I'm waiting for anyone.
Right.
To show a sign
but
of
also, like, there's no way that this wasn't somehow in her character a little bit.
Oh my god, yeah. I don't think that this sister is the asshole necessarily, because
no, she's been forced into a horrible
she's gone
situation.
Through hell and back.
Yes.
And is a college student. And doesn't have anywhere to live at the moment. And is expected to take care of now her sister and sort the house
clearly
affairs.
Her sister, who's clearly a mess.
Who's a mess, clearly.
Yes.
So, and I also, the excuse of putting too much on a child, the girl in college is also a child. I don't think that is a fair excuse.
That's not a fair cop-out,
Like,
no,
just
I
because,
agree.
like, you are 17, understood, you're not 18 yet, you are definitely a child.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably, there's a lot more stress on the other child in college because she's going to be the one who needs to be in charge upon her arrival back. And now she gets to miss out on her schooling and be basically a parent. So that's horrendous. So
that's pretty bad.
I do not think she's the asshole. I would probably lose my mind, personally.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be strong enough for that.
No.
Okay, this one's crazy. Mine is, am I the asshole for bringing up my brother's premature birth at Christmas dinner to get my parents to shut up?
Real.
I am a nurse practitioner, and I am the primary care provider for a lot of low-risk maternity cases at the practice where I work. I also work hand in hand with doctors and midwives to create a healthy maternity birth and postpartum situation. My fiance is completing her residency. We live together and have for a few years now. We aren't in any hurry to get married. We originally had plans to do so a couple of years ago, but we got really busy for the past 2 years. It is driving my very religious parents crazy that their youngest son is living in sin. I don't really care. I'm an adult and I do what I want. We are getting married in June. So when we were visiting my parents for Christmas, the way it came together this year, everyone is at my parents' house. So that's my folks, my 3 siblings, myself, and my fiance, as well as the 7 grandchildren. So total 17 people. At dinner, my mom starts going on about how she is so glad that we are finally getting married and she won't be embarrassed at church anymore. And my dad says how proud he is of his 3 older kids who all either waited to get married before moving in or got married right away after moving in together. My fiance was so embarrassed and I was getting mad over this stupid argument we have way too many times. And then this family dinner was the last straw. I have asked them repeatedly to just accept that they cannot control how I live my life. I refuse to stay with them when I visit, even if I come alone. Hotels are just easier. So I started talking about a premature baby I'd been reading about. It was almost 3 months premature and weighed about 1.6 pounds. It was super strong and healthy for being born so little, and the NICU had high hopes for the baby doing well. My mom and dad both got deer in the headlight looks on their faces. Too bad. Should not have fucked around with my fiance's feelings. So I asked about my oldest brother. He was born almost 4 months premature. Is there a chance that we could check on the family album where we keep all the records of family births and stuff? I already know that my brother was over 9 pounds and almost 23 inches long when he was born. My grandmother told me all about it the first time my parents tried to shame me. Okay, Granny, come through.
Let's go, Granny.
The subject gets changed very fast. After supper, my parents told me that I should not try to embarrass them with private things that are not my concern. I told them that if I ever heard anything about my living arrangements ever again, for the rest of my life, I would make sure to keep bringing up the fact that my mom was in her 2nd trimester when they got married. My parents are mad at me for telling them how to behave in their own home, but my fiance is happy that we seem to be off the subject for good. Am I the asshole?
Absolutely not.
That
you
is
ate them up.
crazy.
Really.
Actually crazy.
Meet them with their same poison. Meet them with their same damn poison. If they're gonna split,
theirs is arguably worse. Just because they don't live together, like, you are pregnant. And in the eyes of Christianity,
in the eyes of, if you're going to be a Bible thumper upon others, you need to be able to take the thump.
Or at least not be living as a hypocrite.
Yeah.
I mean, at least even if you pulled the, I'm reformed now, I regret that, and they're open about, like, the fact that they too have made mistakes and that they would not condone their own behavior on others, okay, maybe you can talk a little bit more smack. But even then,
bash others.
Even then, to bring it up almost every time your kid comes home, you're gonna cease to have a relationship with those grandkids, with the fiance, with your son, like, crazy to bring that up.
Silliness. Absolute silliness.
Yeah. I bet Christmas that year was crazy.
Alright, this one is very near and dear to me and Maddie's hearts. This is very important for us, so let's take this Am I the asshole seriously. Am I the asshole? Wife chooses K-pop idol over marriage. Hi Reddit, I just wanted to...
Crazy title.
Hi Reddit, I just wanted to ask if I'm the asshole in this situation. Context. I'm deployed right now and it's my birthday. My wife stayed up to talk with me a little bit and the topic of her favorite K-pop group came up. I proceeded to jokingly say, I'm better than X. That's why you're with me, her favorite K-pop member. She proceeds to go on a rant about how she would leave absolutely everything behind if he asked to be with her, abandon our marriage, and leave everything. I obviously got upset, saying how I believe it's cheating and that she shouldn't say those things. It's a man that she has never met, and he doesn't know a single thing about her. She proceeds to say that I'm being unreasonable, and I don't understand. I'm now considered immature and all of the above, and immature.
And insecure.
I said insecure first,
Oh,
so I
okay.
just switched the words.
Oh,
I messed
okay.
up.
I honestly,
You are the asshole.
this situation low-key makes me feel bad for her. Because I'm like, how bad is her parasocial relationship, though? Like, I enjoy being Delulu.
For sure. But maybe, here.
Like, I would check on her almost.
Maybe she's so mad because she had already had this conversation about him. They had They had this conversation, they're talking about their one pass. And she says, husband, so-and-so in this K-pop group, that is my one pass, and, like, you have to understand that. And you're allowed your one pass.
But she's not asking for a pass, she's asking
However,
for a straight-up divorce.
my thought, my guy gets deployed. My guy's got a lot on the mind. My guy forgets that they even had that conversation. So she's saying, I would leave everything, our marriage is done, I'm going with him. I am going with him.
I was thinking a different approach.
And he freaks out. And she's like, why are you so insecure? Why are you being immature? We already had this conversation. What is your problem? Why are you getting so heated over something we already talked about? And for that,
whoa, that's a bold-faced assumption. I assumed more
that I am with her.
That he was divorced, and it's easy if you already like K-pop to kind of get into like a parasocial relationship. And she developed like really like intense parasocial relationships with this K-pop idol because her husband was gone, so she took a lot of like solace in this group and like leaned on them a lot potentially.
Deployed, right?
Yeah, he's deployed.
Okay, you said divorce, so I was like, I thought you were trying to say she got divorced, and I was like,
no, sorry.
Damn, interesting.
So while he's deployed, I'm thinking maybe she gets really invested into this group and is like,
so then again,
this is the only thing keeping me going. And in my case, I would be more like, go to couples therapy. Like, help her through that.
That's a hard
because
thing for the wife.
Also for him to say that's cheating, for her to say she would leave him for a K-pop idol.
That's a little crazy.
I don't know if I would consider that cheating.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that's a good point. But in that, like, maybe I'm hoping that he will watch this. I'm hoping Sergey will watch this, and instead of meeting her with the same energy, understand where that energy is coming from, and try to figure out if potentially this deployment...
I'm also hoping that this is a joke. Like, she said it's a joke and he's just butthurt.
That's what I mean. Where, like, she's like, why are you getting so pressed? Like, you know me.
You know I'm joking.
You know
I'm joking.
Like,
yeah.
I would say the same damn joke. Like, I for sure would. My
I
Felix
hope it's a
t-shirt
joke.
is sitting over there. Like, I would do it. So, I don't know.
Stray Kids Day one day.
Yeah, I would love for him to call in. Just a thought. I would love to know more.
Call in 777-777-7777.
Per.
Okay, so mine is, am I the asshole for not wanting my son to literally be named John Doe? So my last name is Doe. It hasn't affected me in my life much, apart from occasionally being called Dodo while growing up, or friends spelling it D''OH, Doe, as a joke. And I'm generally pretty neutral about it. My wife is 6 months pregnant and wants to name our future son after her grandfather, who died of cancer in September. His name was John. I liked her grandfather, and I know he and my wife were very close, but I won't even consider it. Not even for our son's middle name. I think that's just setting him up for a world of problems, especially when he grows up and has to apply for jobs. Nobody's gonna believe John Doe is his real name. My wife thinks I'm being an asshole for vetoing a name with such a strong family connection and says I'm exaggerating the issues that he would face. Am I the asshole? Here's the thing. To say not even as a middle name, though, is a little crazy.
Kids are cruel, though.
But, like, how would kids know the middle name?
Kids
like,
know. That's the first thing you ask somebody.
Okay, let's say, like, his name is, like, Jack
John Doe. Jack John Doe. Because that's really going to kick it with the kids.
Okay, let's say his name is Mason John Doe. Oh, yeah, that's
Terrible.
tough. That's still
It's
tough.
terrible.
Okay, no.
I'm so sorry.
I'm willing to hear you out. Yeah, I agree.
I think, like, to name him Jonathan and call him Johnny Doe, that would be better. That would be better. But
or Nathan, I don't know.
Like, yeah, like, no disrespect to
I
the
think,
grandfather,
yeah.
but it's such a sweet thing. However, like...
It is, like, he is gonna be very
and
sad for the rest of
I
his life.
am the biggest advocate for sometimes a tough time in school builds great character.
But that's just cruel.
I don't
Especially
think
because your parents are causing the horrible time.
Like, that kid's gonna resent their parents.
Well, especially because the dad already was made fun of for just having the last name of Doe. So imagine John Doe.
It's just, knowing that and knowing his experiences, like, that would be terrible to do to his own kid. And also, God forbid their kid, like, ever, like, had an accident or something and he's in records as John Doe, people are not gonna think he's real. Like, people are gonna think they have, like, a missing child.
Yeah.
Like, on the loose.
I
like,
also think, like, you could name him, like, Jackson or something. I don't know.
Or pick the grandfather's middle name.
You could name him any name and call him Johnny for short. Like, Johnny is a nickname. There are plenty of people who have nicknames that have nothing to do with their name.
Nothing to do. Like, it's just, don't do that to your kid. I do not think he's the asshole. He should probably communicate a little bit better and explain these reasons to his wife. He maybe already has. But, like, he can't let that happen.
I
can't let that slide.
Agreed.
Okay, this is my last one. Okay, the title sounds like this is gonna be bad, but, like, it truly is really funny, like, and not because of the situation. Okay. Am I the asshole for being harsh with my neurodivergent sister-in-law? I recently gave birth to a baby boy. He's now 6 months, and I can easily say I've never felt so happy. I will often call my son the cutest thing I've ever seen. He always giggles or smiles in response. It is really the cutest thing. I never once thought it would be controversial for me to do this, but I got into a fight with my sister-in-law a couple days ago over this. We were at a dinner, and after a while my son started crying, so I started doing the thing I mentioned above. He immediately stopped crying. I then handed him off to my husband so I could finish eating. My husband then walked over to the window so he could keep our kid entertained. My sister-in-law then suddenly made a comment about how my son definitely isn't the cutest thing she's seen. I was a little put off, but I just shrugged it off. That seemed to bother her, and she went on to say, he's actually quite boring looking. In fact, most babies are. You can't possibly think he's the cutest thing ever, right? I said she's entitled to her own opinion, and that I really do believe he's a cutie. But that only managed to make her more frustrated, and she tried making it her goal for me to admit that my baby really isn't that cute. Now, sister-in-law is 19 and is neurodivergent. I'm not the most educated, but my mother-in-law said that's why she was so obsessed with the whole thing. I didn't really think about that in the moment and told her to knock it off and stop talking to me in like a super harsh tone. She immediately went quiet and ran to sit by her mom. She then proceeded to glare at me and my son for the rest of the night. After my mother-in-law yelled at me over this, my sister-in-law has been making social media posts about being discriminated against by family members. Am I the asshole?
I'm stuck on the fact that she's 19 and married.
No. The sister-in-law is 19.
Yeah.
The sister-in-law is not married.
Oh, okay, she's the sibling.
She's just the sibling,
Sorry. Oh, okay.
I think she kind of ate him up. Like, that is an incredibly funny thing to say to a woman who just gave birth. Like, that's terrible. Like, no one wants to hear that their son isn't cute. I think she handled it well in the beginning, saying that, like, her sister-in-law, like, she can have her own opinion. That's all right. But the sister-in-law did push her a little bit over the edge. But also to say knock it off and stop, like, isn't... I mean, she said it in a super harsh tone, but, like, those words itself aren't terribly harsh. I do think maybe the mother-in-law should have stepped in before she got to that point. And I also think, like, we don't have any context on what neurodivergent means for this sister-in-law. Yeah, you really aren't.
I'm kidding. I was just gonna say, like, the level that she's at, because, I mean, respectfully, if you are able to, like, you know, communicate, oh, hey, like, don't do that, stop. Like, if you feel comfortable enough to communicate that, she should be able to understand emotions and boundaries a little bit. Maybe it's harder for her than other people, obviously, but...
Wait, like
the sister-in-law. Like, if she's able to have conversations like this, she should be able to also understand emotions well. So, like, the mother-in-law just being like, oh, she's neurodivergent, that's the excuse. Oh, like, that's why she's acting like this. No, she should be sitting her kid down and kind of being like, hey, like, what we said wasn't okay. Maybe we don't say that, you know? At least trying.
Yeah. I will say, like...
The absolute lack of, like...
The funny stuff she was saying was, like, tone deaf.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the knock it off and stop talking to me did appear to give a stronger response from the sister-in-law. Enough to, like, run away, kind of. So, yeah, I don't think she's necessarily the asshole. She wasn't thinking about the situation the sister-in-law could have been in. I think maybe she should apologize to the sister-in-law for making her feel that way. However, I do think she needs a conversation with the mother-in-law to maybe
set some boundaries
there. But yeah, I don't think she's actually the asshole. Like, you're okay, girl. Someone was attacking your kid. You were pretty calm for a new mother, I will say.
Okay, my last one is, like, sad. Like, this is sad.
This one makes me really sad, yeah.
Okay. I don't even know if I should read this one. It's, like, ending on such a horrible note.
A little bit.
We should have switched the order. Okay. This one is, am I the asshole for being repulsed by sex with my husband?
It was really the title we found funny. Like, that's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy, but the actual story
is actually quite sad.
sad.
I, 32F, cannot stand the thought of having intimate relations with my husband, 34M. My husband is an alcoholic, but has been sober for 9 years, 6 of which we've been married and 8 of which we've been together. My mom died in the summer of last year, and it left me a complete mess. Unfortunately, my struggle made my husband slip up, and he went on a binge. Short one to be fair, but very intense. He missed my mom's funeral, and I could not rely on him at all for obvious reasons. I must admit that it made a dent in my trust in him, but we both go to therapy and work through that part. The problem, however, lies in the other thing, his teeth. Just imagine what 2 weeks of not eating, only drinking, and a lot of vomiting can do to your teeth. I've tried to talk to him about it, but he's very ashamed and this topic and closes it off every time. I feel like... Oh my gosh. We are not by any standards wealthy, and dentistry is quite expensive where I live, but we do have some money put aside. I told him that we could use it for that, but he denies that proposition, saying, quote, we might have an unplanned spending and we can need the money. It came to a point that I cannot push myself to kiss him. Recently, he tried to initiate something between us, but I pushed him aside and told him I won't get near him until he does something with his teeth. I saw how badly I hurt him with that statement, and for the last week I've been living together but alone. It's the best way I can put it. I do love him, but I cannot stand seeing his mouth anymore. That's actually so sad.
It is so sad.
But also, like, I think he might have something else going on if his teeth are that destroyed after 2 weeks.
I think it's, like, the combination of once being an alcoholic, probably. I'm sure that they probably weren't.
After 2 weeks, after 9 years of sobriety.
Yeah, but he also probably wasn't brushing his teeth at the time. That's a 2-week bender of no food, just stomach acid and alcohol.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people in the sub things were like, he might have a separate medical condition, like his bile could be like significantly more acidic than natural.
Like he definitely should get just checked out in general for those health related issues. I don't really think anyone is the asshole in this situation. Obviously, alcoholism is a disease. It's not something that goes away. It's something you have to deal with your entire life. So, of course, the situation in which she was left alone for her mother's funeral and that entire grieving process, that's horrendous. But I don't think I would necessarily blame him in that. Obviously, they're working through it. I do think the way in which she went about telling him was a little too blunt for the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I also...
Especially because she knows he's insecure about it already.
Yeah,
it's not like he's not aware.
He told you that, like, he would rather save that money for when they need it.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, like, I mean, like, a lot of people would say, like, yes, let me take that money and do that. Like, I'm ashamed of it. I know you want me to do that. But he is concerned about their future, which is good. So I think it's just it's a toughie. It is a tough situation. I just don't think she should have said that to him.
Not in that way. Maybe
there's
like
a different way to go about that.
Nicely put some, like, you know, dental treatments on the counter, maybe.
Or just be like, hey, like, I'm not used to, like, you being, like, the way you are right now. Like, it's gonna take me a little bit, like, more time because of everything going on. Like, she could have explained it in other ways and just slowly
rather than
built
telling
up,
him that she was repulsed.
Yeah, like, slowly build up to the idea of, like, whatever happens in the future, we'll figure it out. I want this for you. Like, I think it would help both of us if you got this done.
Like, our relationship.
Yeah, like, there's a different way to go about this.
I agree. I think that it's not a great idea to, like, take your rainy day fund on and spend it, like, on too many things I think in life are super unpredictable that it's like, oh my gosh. But also, like, is it, like, do his teeth smell? Because it's kind of like, you could turn off the lights.
Yeah, you can turn off the lights. There's a lot of things you could do.
Is it, like, his mouth as a whole?
But that's where I'm like, is it even his teeth? Or is it the fact that his teeth represent what he did to her?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is
like,
it more psychological or is it truly just physical?
Have you not worked it out in therapy yet? Have you brought this up to your therapist? Like, there's a lot going on in here. So I don't think anyone is the asshole, but that one...
Because in my mind, I understand how his teeth could be bad. But there's, like, in my mind, there's very little chance that his teeth could be that bad without being able to do some over-the-counter fix. Right. To make him look better, at least.
Get him some flippers.
You know, like, there's, like, denture glue that you can put over the tooth to make a fake veneer. Like, something like that. Like, I don't know. He must have something else going on to make it so bad that she's like,
I feel like, it must be, like, a smell thing, too.
It's gotta be,
Because also, like...
Because the dark exists.
Yeah, and, like...
I hate to say it.
Like, he's not going in with a smile to go kiss her. Like, I don't know. Like, there's gotta be something else going on that we're not aware of, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, a good complex one to end on.
Quite sad, though.
Yeah, quite sad. I'm sorry to those people. Hope y'all are good. They posted that recently, so you're in our thoughts, guys.
Yeah. That's all we have for today's episode. We will see you guys on Friday.
Back with another pod episode. Comment, like, oh my god, subscribe.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.